Have you ever wondered how one forgotten friendship could change someone's life forever? Imagine walking into a job interview hoping for nothing more than a chance to clean floors and pay your bills, only for the richest person in the building to suddenly stop the interview, stare at your application, and say, "Wait, I know this name." What happened next left an entire company speechless. It wasn't money that changed everything that day. It was a simple act of kindness from many years ago that had never been forgotten. Before we begin, if you enjoy heartwarming stories that restore your faith in humanity, don't forget to subscribe to Kindness Matters, like this video, and leave a comment telling us where you're watching from. Every kind word helps our community grow, and your support inspires us to bring you more unforgettable stories. Daniel Carter was 29 years old, a devoted single father raising his 6-year-old daughter, Lily, in a small apartment on the edge of Chicago. Life had never been easy, but Daniel always believed that honest work was something to be proud of. After the manufacturing company where he worked suddenly closed, Daniel spent months searching for another job. Every morning, he dropped Lily off at school before walking from business to business with a folder full of resumes. Interview after interview ended with polite smiles, but no phone calls. His savings slowly disappeared. Bills piled up on the kitchen table, and every night Daniel worried about how he would keep food on the table for Lily. One afternoon, he noticed a sign outside the headquarters of one of the city's biggest technology companies. "Janitor needed." Daniel smiled quietly. "It may not be my dream job," he whispered to himself, "but it's honest work." The company was famous across America. It was led by 30-year-old billionaire CEO Emily Brooks, a businesswoman admired for building her company from a small startup into an international success. Daniel never expected to meet her. He simply filled out an application and waited in the reception area. Upstairs, Emily was reviewing a stack of employment reports before an important meeting. One application accidentally landed on her desk. She glanced at the name, Daniel Carter. Her eyes widened. "No way," she whispered. She picked up the application again, reading it more carefully. Could it really be him? Without saying another word, she canceled her next meeting and hurried downstairs. Inside the interview room, the hiring manager was asking Daniel routine questions about cleaning equipment and work schedules. Suddenly, the door opened. Everyone stood. Emily Brooks had entered the room. The manager looked confused. "Ma'am, is everything okay?" Emily ignored the question. She looked directly at Daniel. "Did you go to Lincoln Primary School?" Daniel blinked in surprise. "Yes, I did." She smiled through tears. "You sat beside me in 3rd grade." Daniel stared at her for several seconds before recognition slowly appeared on his face. "Emily," she laughed. "You finally remembered." The room fell completely silent. No one could believe what they were witnessing. Emily turned toward the hiring manager. "Could you give us a few minutes?" When they were alone, both of them smiled at memories they hadn't thought about in decades. Emily quietly said, "You probably don't remember much about those days." Daniel shrugged. "I remember we used to trade sandwiches sometimes." Emily nodded. "You always noticed when I forgot my lunch." Daniel laughed softly. "My dad always packed extra food." Emily's smile became emotional. "You never knew why I forgot my lunch." Daniel shook his head. "I never asked. My mother was working 3 jobs after my father left. Some mornings there simply wasn't enough food." Daniel looked down. "I had no idea." Emily continued. "Other kids made fun of my old clothes. They laughed when my shoes had holes." Daniel remembered. "I told them to stop." "You did more than that," Emily replied. "You sat beside me every day so I wouldn't eat alone. You shared your lunch without making me feel embarrassed. You treated me like everyone else." Daniel smiled gently. "I was just trying to be kind." Emily wiped away a tear. "But that kindness changed my childhood." She looked around the room. "Do you know what gave me the confidence to keep believing in myself?" Daniel stayed silent. "You." Daniel couldn't believe what he was hearing. "I never imagined something so small mattered." Emily smiled. "The smallest kindness often becomes someone's biggest hope." She explained that after years of hard work, scholarships, and countless failures, she had eventually built one of the country's fastest-growing companies. Whenever life became difficult, she remembered one little boy who never laughed at her and never expected anything in return. Meanwhile, Daniel admitted that life had taken a different path. After losing his wife to illness 3 years earlier, he had focused entirely on raising Lily. I just want a stable job, he said quietly. I want my daughter to know her dad never gave up. Emily smiled warmly. You came here asking to clean our floors. Daniel nodded. I'd do my best. She laughed. I know you would. The next morning, every employee gathered in the company auditorium for an unexpected announcement. Emily walked onto the stage beside Daniel. She told everyone the story of the quiet boy who had once shared his lunch with a lonely classmate. There are people who invest money, she said, and there are people who invest kindness. The second investment lasts much longer. Then she surprised everyone. Daniel Carter is joining this company. The audience applauded loudly. Daniel assumed he had received the janitor position. Then Emily continued. He'll begin leading our employee care and community outreach department. Gasps filled the room. Emily smiled. Skills can be taught. Character cannot. She explained that someone who had shown genuine kindness as a child was exactly the kind of leader she wanted, helping shape the company's culture. Over the following months, Daniel helped organize volunteer events, food drives, and mentorship programs for struggling families. Employees who had once barely spoken to one another began working together to serve their community. The company became known not only for its success, but also for its compassion. Lily often visited the office after school. One afternoon she asked Emily, "Why did you help my dad?" Emily knelt beside her and smiled. "Because many years ago, your father helped a little girl who thought nobody cared." Lily wrapped her arms around her father. "I'm proud of you, Dad." Daniel smiled with tears in his eyes. He had walked into that building hoping for a chance to earn a paycheck. Instead, he rediscovered an old friend, found a new purpose, and learned that kindness never truly disappears. Years may pass. Faces may change. Life may take unexpected turns. But every act of kindness leaves a mark on someone's heart that time can never erase. If this story touched your heart, remember this. You never know who is quietly carrying a burden, and you never know how one small act of kindness could change someone's future forever. Be patient. Be generous. Be compassionate, because kindness has a way of coming back when you least expect it. And until our next story here on Kindness Matters, keep choosing kindness, because even the smallest good deed can change a life forever.